So it's being reported by Tom Persilio that the Lions didn't hire Mike McDaniels because he wasn't a fit. And I talked about that when I kind of did the videos on him. And I also talked about Arthur Smith, I felt like was a better fit. And I know some people probably disagreed with me, but I laid I said, and I laid what I laid out, right? And it's no disrespect to anybody. I like Mike McDaniels, but one of the things that I pointed out that he could have got from Detroit was how to be tougher. That's why he didn't fare well in Buffalo. You don't have a quarterback to really spin it, and he gets injured a lot. Why not protect the quarterback and run the ball more? That's the number one thing. Why not protect the quarterback and run the ball more? That's what I'm saying. Protect your quarterback, run the ball more. He never did that. Knowing you got to go to Buffalo or go through Kansas City to get to a championship, or Cincinnati or Baltimore in your own division, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Bills, all outdoor teams. You're not going to be fortunate enough to play all those teams before the weather break. And if you are, and you are successful during the season, you got to go outdoor. More than likely, you might have to go back outdoors regardless. Shit, they played the Super Bowl in the snow before. But you got Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Since Detroit Lions didn't view Mike McDaniel as the right fit for their OC position, per Jeff Darlington, my bad, not Tom Persilio. Dan Campbell liked Mike McDaniel a lot, but the Lions didn't view him as quite the right fit. Now, some people might read into it that Dan wanted him, but Brad didn't. I think Dan probably has the ultimate say-so over his coaching staff. And I always wondered if they split down the middle on their decision, how do they break the tie? Because once again, remember, they didn't allow Brad Holmes to hire his own coach. Now, a lot of that may have been he was he was just a scout. He hadn't formed a NFL tree or probably met a lot of coaches. He on the road scouting. So they were like, yo, homeboy, we're going to hire your head coach for you. And that's fine, right? It's worked out, found and dandy. Because a possible candidate they could have hired in Terry Fonta, he got released from Atlanta Falcons. And for people who don't know, Matt Ryan is taking over. He is running the Atlanta Falcons right now. So, Matt Ryan is doing some great things on TV and now pulling the strings. And Tom Brady's pulling a couple strings in Las Vegas and on TV. So that might be the new wave, right? Shout out to Nate Burleson for going up on TV too. But it wasn't a perfect fit. I thought Arthur Smith was a great fit. Now I didn't know much about Drew Petzing. Hopefully I'm saying this name right. I know I ain't. Y'all let me know in the comment section. But I didn't know a lot about him. But kind of when I start researching and people start telling me stuff, I'm open-minded. I'm not sitting here with one hand. Somebody correct me in the comment section, or somebody correct me while we doing live, or DM me. Hey, man, if you right, you're right. Oh, man, you said this. Cool. I'm not about to cuss you out or go ham on you, as long as you're respectful, right? But when I looked at this, and if you've seen some of the videos I talked about this on, I think the Lions really needed an offensive coordinator that was run-based. Now, a little bit further, I learned that he was the offensive run game coordinator for the 49ers. Now, what also, made me think was just his job in Miami. You had a quarterback, who was broken up. You didn't protect them enough. It seemed like they were so pass happy in Miami that they needed to be run more. And even, getting Achane and Morstead, I don't feel like they really had that running back that was going to bring the wood. I didn't feel like they had the running back that was going to bring the wood. To get they were just too much of a finesse offense. And that's what I'm saying. I think the Detroit Lions were looking for an offensive coordinator that was going to ground and pound. They understand for them to be successful, they need to run the ball and be a physical football team. Once again, I hate to refer back to this. This is a subject I talked about in the live stream. But, for those who don't want to sit through the live and listen through the whole thing, this is why I do these videos, right? The thing is this. The one thing that you end up figuring out is that a lot of these quarterbacks are better when you run the football. Jared Goff is like any other quarterback. When he able to run, windows open up, play action open up, He get windows wider than the Atlantic Ocean. He's great. It buys them time. The run game buys them time. They can't pin their ears back to get him. McDaniels kind of gets into that John Morton mode. Even though he was an offensive run game coordinator for 3 years with Kyle Shanahan, and I see why they made him an offensive game run coordinator, because when he got to Miami, he got from under, Kyle Shanahan's thumb. He went trigger happy. He went past trigger happy. And you don't want to run into that same philosophical difference again. John Morton, he liked to throw the ball. That's all he talked about. We know Mike McDaniels liked to throw the ball and all the explosive things that he did with Tyreek. And people say, well, he's creative and all that. We want to be effective, not creative. We already creative. The Lions proved this year, with or without Ben Johnson and with them, they're still a creative football team. They still had creative trick plays. They still had, really good pass concepts. The issue was this. They didn't have the same mentality that Ben Johnson did. Ben Johnson wanted to run the ball. Ben Johnson wanted to be a physical football team. You've seen it in Chicago. They went and drafted a physical running back, put him in there with DeAndre Swift, a balanced running back, and that was the foundation of their team to make Caleb Williams take the next step. Look at what Dallas did. They took the ball out of Dak's hands, put it in Javonte Williams' hand. Goddamn. Look at it down there in Carolina, what they did. Chuba Hubbard, he's good. He got injured. We got Rico Dowd. Now they got a two-handed monster. That's what you want. Jackson Dart was able to flourish. Yeah, even when Malik Neighbors went out, he had Cam Scatterbull. So when you get these guys running, when you get some of these quarterbacks running backs, it's true game changers. It covers up for a bad offensive line sometimes. It buys the quarterback more time, bigger windows. McDaniels is just not the physical juggernaut they need an offensive coordinator. You need somebody that's going to preach physicality. You need somebody going to preach, we got to move mountains. Somebody, and McDaniels will run the ball, but then again, he'll get enamored with play action pass and pass. We don't need that. We need to run, and run off that pass. Maybe you probably worried if, Drew Petzing can run the ball, can throw the ball to open up the run. I would have to look. Ben Johnson was great at that. He was able to throw the ball to open up run lanes, but you got to find that balance. I think McDaniels, he just too pass happy. And I just think what he could have learned from Detroit is how to be more physical, how to come downhill and be a physical football team. And that's what when you look at Chicago, that's what you missing that Ben Johnson took with him. He took the physical identity from Detroit. When Frank Ragnow left, Ben Johnson left, Kevin Seifert, they took the physical identity. The Lions' identity is physicality, moving out. The defense was still physical when they was healthy. The receiver still was blocking when they was healthy. When the backs got an opportunity, for the most part, they just wasn't the mentality, and some of the offensive linemen, it wasn't there. He didn't fit. He didn't fit with the Lions, what they were missing from when Ben Johnson left, and that was nasty, mean, physical, hat on the hat, juggernaut type of offense. And I don't mean juggernaut scoring a bunch of points. I mean a physical, stanky dog, blue collar, shoveling dirt with your hands, dirty dog mentality. Mike McDaniels doesn't represent that. I felt Arthur Smith represented that. And from everything I'm reading about Drew Petzing, he represents that. That's what y'all looking at. Oh, all the creative plays he could have drew up. No, the foundation of what they need to do is, big sets, 2 tight ends, full back. That's the foundation of what they want to do. Then we're going to play off that and pass the football. The Lions are already creative. They're already finesse. You know what I'm saying? Now it's to the point where we need our physical identity back. Now, is he gonna bring that physical identity back by himself? No. They need to figure out the center position. If Taylor Decker gonna be the left tackle, who gonna be the guards going forward? So once they figure those things out, then hey, it's a go. But this is the first step that they can do that. Now it's about filling 3 offensive line positions and really a new leaf to that offensive line. I like what they got, with Miles Frazier and Manu Giovanni and some of the, those 2 guys. And, now let's pull in some starters in there. We have a strong, starting 5 and some good backups back there as well too. But physicality, Mike McDaniels wasn't dog enough. He wasn't Detroit enough. He wasn't aggressive enough. He wasn't hawk enough. You know, he more like Squirrel Girl, respectfully. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live or drop video. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support. Check out the Detroit Lifestyle playlist for more videos like this. Peace.